Great to meet everyone. My name is Matt Coughlin from Zerto. We are a data protection IT resilience software headquartered out of Boston. A lot of focus on your VM infrastructure, cloud infrastructure, Kubernetes, and SaaS. So just want to talk a little bit today about where we fit in the market and where we can provide value to your organizations. Let's see. So a little bit of background for you. Our goal is to provide one platform to protect, recover, and move data and applications across on-premise, hybrid cloud, and multi-cloud environments. We were established back in 2009. We've got about 1,500 partners worldwide, and we're ranging upwards towards about 10,000 customers today. A couple of key points to be aware of. We are 100% software, so no agents to install, manage, or upgrade. We support both VMware and Hyper-V, and we're hardware agnostic. When we're really looking at Zerto, our come to market and value proposition is focused around cyber recovery, disaster recovery for unplanned and planned outages, as well as driving cloud agility. A couple key things to note about these use cases. When you're looking at ransomware, 265 billion estimated cost by 2031. As I'm sure a lot of you know, this is just continuing to grow year over year. Hackers are getting becoming more creative in the ways that they get into your networks and environments, and our customers need ways to be able to recover faster and easier. When it comes to planned and unplanned disruptions, about 63% of organizations have suffered a disruption. It's going to be completely dependent on the cost of data loss and downtime to your business, how impactful it was, but it's something that almost 2/3 of our customer base has encountered at one point or the other. When you're looking at cloud complexity, by 2025, 100 zettabytes of cloud data. This is an industry that's just going to continue to grow. We all know about the issues with supply chain right now. Has a lot more enterprises looking at the cloud. Our whole goal here is 24/7, no downtime, no data loss, simplistic and easy management of your infrastructure. So our goal here really is to solve for any disruption. Ransomware recovery. Everyone's focused on cybersecurity on the front end, but if your cybersecurity fails, how do you recover? How do you get back up and running quickly and easily? We want to mitigate that risk, recover at scale, and provide the ability to go in and clone your infrastructure for data forensics. When you're looking at disaster recovery, hardware failures, natural disasters, power outages, proactive testing, being able to get back up and running no matter what the outage is as quickly as possible. Looking at backup and recovery, user errors, file deletions, corruptions, want to make sure that we're meeting your compliance and retention needs. That rolls into the long-term retention, deep archive, legal requirements, compliance. And then driving this across multi-cloud mobility. So looking at how do we get to cloud, migrations, how do you consolidate data centers, how do you go between clouds, how do you modernize your infrastructure by being able to utilize disparate hardware at all your sites. So a lot of different ways that we can really fit within your initiatives today. As we look at the Zerto platform, there's really 5 main use cases that we're looking at. First is data protection, so disaster recovery and long-term retention. We approach it as you don't have a holistic data protection strategy if you just have a backup solution in place. You need disaster recovery today to be able to remove snapshots from your infrastructure, utilize our DVR-like functionality, be able to rewind and resume to just 3 to 5 seconds before an outage and restore in under 10 minutes. We use this disaster recovery capability on the front end, paired with our long-term retention to give you a perfect ransomware recovery situation. This long-term retention can also be utilized for compliance and retention needs, keep your data up to 10 or 12 years. The second main use case we look at is that workload mobility, being able to move workloads anywhere. So VMs, cloud instances, Kubernetes, being able to go between disparate platforms with no data loss on those migrations. So we support global infrastructures by being able to move workloads anywhere across the globe. Looking at cloud, partnerships with GreenLake, Azure, AWS, Google, IBM, Oracle, and over 450 different private cloud providers today. Our goal is no matter where you're going to cloud and no matter where your workload's going to perform best, being able to get it there and then support it in terms of DR and backup once it's there. Moving off of this, we're looking at backup for SaaS. So Microsoft 365, G Suite, Dynamics, and Salesforce. Being able to back this up as a 100% software solution, no data retention charges, store your data up to 99 years while also being immutable to ransomware. And then finally, we're looking at next steps. Where's your organization going in the future? We've built in support for Kubernetes across OpenShift, Tanzu, AKS, EKS, being able to do DR and backup of persistent and non-persistent data across clusters and across platforms. How we do what we do, it's near synchronous replication, continuous data protection. It's 100% software. It installs into your vCenter or SCVMM at your production site. It's a Windows appliance. We then deploy virtual replication appliances, Linux-based virtual machines onto your hosts. And these are the orchestration, automation, and replication all in one. What happens here is we're basically taking the disk block changes within your applications and replicating them to your target site real time. What this allows you to do is as those disk block changes are sent, they're being sent every 3 to 5 seconds to that target site and stored in your vDisks. So say you lose your production site, you can pick what your target site is that you want it to be, whether that's a secondary data center, public, private cloud, up to you guys. Once you've set that destination site, you start replicating the data. You say you lose your production site, you can go into the target site, access your applications, choose the point in time you want to restore from. Those applications will be powered on and spun up at that target site in real time. So whether that's cloud, on-premise, doesn't matter to us. You've got full flexibility there. And then we've also built in that long-term retention. We do it a little bit different. We don't do the backups off of production. It's off of the replicated data. So there's no impact to production. This is where you can target any NFS SMB share. You can offsite it to Azure, AWS, also make it immutable for ransomware recovery scenarios. And then you can also move the production target site to AWS or Azure. EC2 instances, Azure instances, you can do inter-region, between regions, between clouds. Gives you the flexibility to have a single pane of glass that's going to manage your VMs on-prem, VM replication to cloud, Azure AWS instances in cloud, and it's all one pane of glass to do failovers and failbacks. The differentiator with us is no snapshots and being able to recover from those disk block changes within our journal. Our whole goal for disaster recovery is 99% of our customers, the outages they're recovering from are within a 5 to 7 day window. Having those checkpoints every 3 to 5 seconds for 7 days on the front end for that granular recovery, being able to go back to a specific point in time, gives you that ability to operationally recover as quickly as possible with as little data loss and downtime. And then by leveraging a mix of that journal on the front end with the long-term retention and repositories on the back end, you're then protected granularly for the first X amount of days. You're protected with the journal, rolling up to 10, 12, 15 years with the long-term retention repositories, making you continuously protected across all aspects of your infrastructure. When we look at unlocking cloud, we're extremely scalable. Our smallest customers have 1 VM, 1 instance protected. Our largest now ranges up over 10,000. We kind of look at cloud as a walk, jog, run mentality. With our licensing, with our software, you can start by replicating to cloud. Get an understanding of how it works. Let your teams do a little bit of testing so they get comfortable with it. Because moving to cloud isn't just an infrastructure transformation, it's a people transformation as well. Once they get comfortable with that method, we can then migrate some workloads to production. You're jogging at this point. So once you're migrating some workloads, they're in production in cloud, they're running real time there. When you really start running, that's when you can utilize the same licensing with Zerto to do region to region or cloud to cloud protection. So you have a data resilience solution built in here. And then when you're sprinting, you're looking at Kubernetes, being able to modernize those applications and then replicate and back up the data within those Kubernetes offerings. Our whole goal with cloud is we know every workload isn't going to work perfectly within one cloud. It's being able to support multiple clouds, multiple different types of workloads via a single pane of glass. So just a couple examples of the different types of applications and where Zerto's delivered value to our customer base. Looking at 10K, fastest ransomware recovery. They were using a snap-based solution before they bought Zerto. They were down for over a week. They actually implemented Zerto and they got hit by ransomware for a second time. They recovered in 10 minutes and experienced only 10 seconds of data loss. Pretty impressive, I'd say. United Airlines, their whole goal is to avoid the cost of downtime. We protect one of their most critical applications, their website and their customer-facing applications that generate over $1 million per hour. They trust us to make sure that if that goes down, we can get them back up and running as quickly as possible. Looking at HCA healthcare, replace multiple point solutions here. So a lot of different solutions out there between ASR, Cloud Endure, SRM, Recover Point. Being able to consolidate these DR solutions down from 4 to 1, we helped HCA save over $10 million in revenue. And then looking at XPO logistics, this goes back to the whole migration, workload mobility, consolidation. Being able to optimize your infrastructure utilization, we merged 21 data centers down to 6 in only 36 months with them. So being able to move workloads quickly and easily, no data loss. And then the real goal of Zerto here is simplicity at scale. We've been proven to be reliable, and we're the gold standard in disaster recovery and replication performance. Just as an example, United Airlines, 4,000 VMs protected today with an 8-second RPO. There's a Fortune 10 organization, 1,200 VMs protected today, 9-second RPO. Jack Henry, 2,000 VMs with a 6-second RPO, and then another manufacturer running about 1,200 VMs with a 5-second RPO. Our goal here, guys, is to be able to provide you, no matter what the application is, where it needs to go or where it sits today, a single platform to manage your protection, manage VMs, manage cloud instances, manage Kubernetes, provide DR and backup in a way that if your data gets encrypted, you have an outage, we get you back up and running in seconds and minutes. And that's all we have today. Any questions?